Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. It's salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp. Coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is on the Common Sense Show with Dave Hodges, and it's entitled, Are You Ready to Be a Serf Under the Great Reset? Okay, because as Mr. Schwab has stated, you will own nothing and be happy. And any type of society where you have the super rich who own everything, and then the majority of the people have nothing, living off the land and resources of the rich, that's called serfdom or feudalism. However you choose to call it, it's all the same thing. So we're going to let Dave speak on this, and we'll get some scripture in between.
I remember, pardon me, being a young teacher. And in being a young teacher, you got assigned to teach a lot of different classes. And one year I taught a section, actually 2 years, I taught a section of world history. And it was very enlightening, and I had learned this stuff, but you don't really learn it until you teach it, as the saying goes, and it's true. And I studied about feudalism. And I thought, man, how'd those people ever live like this? And the question I have for you, America, is how are our people going to live like this? The life of the feudal slave, and that's essentially what they were. They were kind of like the original sharecroppers. They lived on land, they did farming, and the lord of the manor came in and took how much he wanted, and what was left over went to the family. But they never made profit. They never were allowed to sell it. Capitalism wasn't, they didn't save anything. You were hoping you'd have enough food to get your kids to go to bed without crying for hunger. That was feudalism. And most of these serfs didn't travel more than 3 or 4 miles, 5 miles from home. And if they did, they were taken to war. And they were the front line. Walk in, get killed, soften up the defenders for the elite troops. It was a terrible life. Most of them had scurvy. Most of them had food and waterborne illnesses. Sanitation was disgusting. But the lords, the vassals, the king, the knights, they lived good lives. You see, they had rules for thee, but not for me. Oh, does this sound familiar? Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, in a famous quote, said with regard to the Great Reset, in 2025, we're well on our way. By 2030, you will own nothing, and you will love it. Klaus Schwab. I sound kind of like him. Do you understand what this is we're talking about here? We're talking about the removal of capitalism. Before you can build it, you must first destroy what's there. And that's what's happening right now. The complete and utter and purposeful destruction of capitalism. And I can't believe I heard it said tonight on Shannon Bream on Fox News. She said that. She had 2 guests on. And she posed the question. And she stated it first in the imperative that this is true. And then she asked them. Even the Democrat couldn't totally deny what was going on. Supply chains wrecked, money's becoming worthless, interest rates are going off the charts, we're being taxed into oblivion, taxes kill expansion. I could go on and on and on. We're talking about, manning the borders to check for vaccine passports, and the discussion has been had within the federal government to not allow people to cross state lines unless they're fully vaccinated. That has not been handed down yet, but this has been openly discussed in the media. CNN had a little panel about this. This is a limitation of travel. And people, you've got the appreciation tax. If your house appreciates 10%, which is a modest amount today, and your house is worth $300,000, that's a modest amount in most parts of the country. Now you owe the government $30,000 in taxes. Did you make $30,000 over what your expenditures are? Are you going to be able to do that every year? Or are you going to lose your home and just live on the feudal manor in a home that used to be your own? Are you beginning to see the parallels? You are the new serfs of America, of the world. This is the Great Reset. Digital currency will know what you spend money on. There'll be no black market economy. There'll be no hoarding. There'll be no saving up resources. Nope, you'll never have anything. You'll live hand to mouth, day to day, week to week, month to month. That's what's arriving at our doorstep right now. We have some pretty dramatic statistics in our economy right now. We're already seeing devastating effects. And I'm going to cover these a little bit later. Actually, I'll probably be covering it first thing tomorrow. But some statistics with regard to how much certain segments of our population make today. And we're well on our way, folks. We are not far away from feudalism. In fact, feudalism is kind compared to how the fact that we have so many homeless. At least in feudalism, these people had a roof over their head. Look at the explosion, the literal explosion, blocks and blocks and blocks of homeless people. Appreciation keeps going up, homes keep going up. You'd think when people lose their homes and they go homeless, you'd think the prices of the homes would go down, but no, because BlackRock's coming in and they're perpetrating a disaster. They're paying 20 to 50% above market for mortgages. Why? This is why you're getting 36 bids on a property. This is why a property might sell for $100,000 over asking. This is the installation of feudalism, but I would say it's desperate feudalism. It's the most barbaric form of feudalism you can be because there's no home. You're just living in a tent. You gotta wonder how they're going to use these people.
I know exactly how they're going to use these people. They're either going to get rid of them or send them to war. Okay. But, man, I wanted to stop it earlier, but hey, Dave was saying a lot in this video segment, which is true. Okay. These rich elite are bringing forth the United Serfs of America. You will own nothing and you will be happy. New Jack Slavery 2.0. Only in this case, everybody's going to feel the pain. Okay. And we're going to get some scripture. Because these elites think that they're doing a great thing for the common people. And you actually have some common people that think that the government is doing good for them. What is that? I think it's in Ecclesiasticus. No, it's in Proverbs 12 and 10. Proverbs 12 and 10. It says, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast. It says, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. And what the elite are doing are very cruel because they all do it under the guise of, we're doing this for your good. We're cutting down our carbon. We're doing this. Everything is for the betterment. Everything is for the best of the nation and the people. It's all for public safety. When in all actuality, it's just the rope-a-dope for the end. And this is 1 Thessalonians 5. I'm going to start at the top. It says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahweh so cometh as a thief in the night. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, right? We're doing all these things under peace and safety. It says, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Because everyone thinks that this is for the betterment, but in all actuality, these American citizens are bringing themselves closer and closer to the end game. And of course, all of this is the will of the Lord, making it so that these things happen. But this is not going back to normal. And these elites are going to fight with every bit of strength that they got to make sure that this comes to pass. You see what's happening right now in the world. Okay, it seems like every place in the world is fighting the 91 mandate. And this is why you have so much civil unrest and chaos going on in the world. But that was all predicted to happen too. All right, when you go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you have a great struggle going on between those that are trying to make, for lack of a better phrase, make America great again, or make America a better place for their children. And then you have the elite who are trying to wrap this thing up, get this great reset going to where they now have full control of many things. Because Dave said that what do they plan to do with all these people who won't have jobs, who won't have money, who won't have anything? Well, just go look at the Georgia Guidestones. It said to reduce the population to 500 million. So that is the ultimate goal, but this devil won't be able to do it. He'll get close, but he won't be able to fulfill it because it's not the will of the Lord. And it's Job 5:12, and it says that he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So it is going to get to a point where things are going to get very bad, establishing this great reset. But just when they sit down and say, that's when the Lord is going to come, and this whole show is going to be over with, and it'll be time for righteousness to rule forever. But yeah, until that time, we just got to endure this, because as Dave said, all these things are happening at once: supply chain, food, joblessness, cryptocurrency. I think Bitcoin shattered its old record yesterday of like 64 or 65 some thousand. And I usually keep up with that, because the more I see Bitcoin shoot up, the more I know that we're closer to this thing being finalized. So very interesting take, which Dave is very correct on. So that's all I wanted to say on this. Hope you all were edified. Until the next time, we're going to say shalom.